please do. All right, nerds. Hello again. My name is still Aaron Gordon. My pronouns are still he and him. A bunch of people have asked, like, hey, what do you actually do at the company? So yeah, game design director is a bit broad. So my job, I work at Bracious Surf Games, so an indie studio based in Vancouver. They made these 3 games. And also Crypto the Necrodancer. I wasn't around for that, but I helped with these ones. My job as game design director is to oversee all of the game teams and work with all the game teams to be like, yeah, do exactly what we just talked about, to be like, cool, let's form game pillars together. They'll be like, here's our game pillars. I'm like, 2 of those are awesome, this other one needs a bit of work. Let's work on it together. And then we'll do the same thing with gameplay loops, to review the game and be like, hey, this part of the game is awesome. The gameplay loops here aren't really connecting. Let's work together and see what we can do. For Rift, I took on the game director role like directly for Rift, so I've been more involved in that just as like one game. But overall, that's kind of my job. That's where I'm strong. Don't ask me about any engineering questions. Not only can I not help you, I will make it worse for you.
More confusing.
Yes, I will make it more confusing by saying acronyms that I think I know the answer to, and I do not. So yeah, but game design. Ask me a bunch of stuff.
You all see really good art. After the Necrodancer
it's really good. Yeah, our artist Piper is fantastic, and she's just, what did she say? She's like, going to school, people told me that I wouldn't be able to get a job drawing anime characters and, you know, having cute art. Look at me now. And we just did like Hatsune Miku DLC and HoloLive, but she's like, I can draw Hatsune Miku in cute outfits like for a living. This is awesome. Follow your dreams. So this next part, it's shorter than the other one. This is like a micro talk. I'm going to give a more detailed view of one of the game design frameworks that we kind of went over. This one is about, I'm going to go back, player skills. And in general, I'd invite you to think about all game design frameworks that you hear from me and from everybody online and from GDC talks. Like, think about them as a toolbox. Like, it's your tool shed. It's things that you have. You don't need to use every one. Like, if what I say here is like, I think that's going to work for me, fantastic, don't use it. Totally up to you. I'm going to give you like, you know, a wrench and be like, hey, use this if things are feeling a bit loose, you know, and you can like, I don't know how wrenches work, but you can wrench it back into place, I imagine. But yeah, don't feel like you have to use everything. Somebody will get up on GDC and they'll say, this is the way to make games. And if you follow all the advice that you hear, you won't be able to make a game. So yeah, just bear it in mind. This is player skills. Those are wrenches, I assume. And I'm going to tell you what they're about. So player skills, this is actually really hard to cram my neck around. Player skills, yeah, so these are useful when things are starting to feel a bit too samey or dissonant, when things are like, they should be clicking and they're not, or when things are like, okay, we've got 5 boss fights in the game, 10 levels, 5 enemies, you know, whatever. All these enemies feel too similar. I feel like I'm always jumping on the heads of all these enemies. I feel like I'm always just shooting them in the head to move on to the next thing. Doesn't feel like there's enough variation. So player skills can be really useful in kind of breaking apart these things if you find yourself in that situation. These are the ones that I have used a lot in the past. I find them very useful. Make up your own. If you feel like other ones are better, I found these ones useful. So, excuse me. I'll start off with one of the above to focus on and then refer back to it later on just to keep reinforcing like, you know, that. So if your game is about testing measurement and dexterity, then look at all your levels, mechanics, systems, and see how you can support that. And I'll go through each one of these and what they mean right now. It's easy to load your stuff, It is easy to have loads of stuff in your game that is technically different. These pizzas are all technically different. They got different meats and different cheeses and different crusts. They're all cheese meat pizza. Well, if you give me 3 of those, I'm like, well, I don't want that anymore. I want a different kind of pizza. What else you got? So if you're challenging the same player skills over and over again, it just feels like, I'm doing the same thing. I'm not really, you know, changing it up. This links into, product design philosophy of if you start with a really different shape, like fundamental starting point, you get to something that looks very distinct and different. In this example, Disney and start off with a circle. You can see how that is propagated through all these designs, very different from all of the ones that start off with a triangle and propagate through and really hold that as a focus. In the same way, your player skills, your pizzas, can be very different. You can have a large variety of pizzas that serve different kind of settings, different kind of moods, themes, sizes, and now it feels like we've got a variety. Whereas before, we technically had a variety, but not really, it didn't feel like it. So go to the first one, dexterity and measurement. So this is physically your ability to maneuver things on a controller. So we've all done this where we've gone home for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and given controller to a family relative, and they look at it like it's a Formula One racing car. So they're like, I know what is happening. We take for granted as people that play lots of games that that's hard. It's hard to navigate things in 3D space. It's hard to manipulate two joysticks at the same time. It's difficult to hold down a shoulder button and press a face button. We've just, a lot of us just have internalized that over years. But games like Biped kind of really focus on this, and this is, measurement and dexterity on the controller is part of the game. Same as is it Climb with Friends or Mount Your Friends? Peak's the new one, yep. Mount Your Friends is another one where you're looking at the controller and you're okay, I gotta hold this down.
That basically plays like Quap.
That's the one, yeah, Quap is another good one. And so, yeah, you can already tell, okay, that's a very unique experience that I'm having, and I'm testing I'm being tested on a very specific player skill. So advantages of this is it's really great for slow-paced, fiddly interactions, like these two robots, your co-op, you both got to hold down a shoulder button, do the thing, then unhook it, and then hold down the other shoulder button. It's fun, it's challenging, yes, using your brain in a different way. It can be really hard for non-experienced players. I would not recommend doing this if you're you want your game to be as accessible as possible to non-gamers. They're gonna just have no idea what to do. It can also have a really high cognitive load for players if it's too long. If you stay too long in this area, it can just be I'm burnt out, I'm done, I'm using part of my brain, I'm not in that flow state, I'm just thinking too hard. But that's measurement and dexterity. And at the end of this, I have an example of what we did for Rift and how we broke apart our boss fights using this strategy. Timing is a really good one. So this is players seeing a door, opening and closing, choosing their when to dash through. It's a boss fight where you know where their weak point is and it periodically appears. Platforms that rise and fall that the player needs to jump between. So it's not performing the action, it's just recognizing that that is taking place and that there is a timing to it, and it's realizing where the opportunity is. So with a thwomp, yep, okay, it's going to go up. While it's going up, that's my goal, that's my cue to run through. It's really great for rewarding observation and planning. It's really great for increasing players' connection to the world, because I've got to pay attention to what I'm doing. It's not so great if your timing patterns aren't very clear. We've all played games that are Souls-like games, but they don't have that telegraphing of a smash, and I just feel I just got to memorize this. It's not very fun. It can also be, if you have an over-reliance on this, it causes a very passive experience. If I'm just waiting for the world to do something, or if I have to go up, if the only way to beat this enemy is to parry it, I gotta then walk up to it and wait for it to do its slow while. I'm like, come on, let's go. So use it sparingly as well. Next one is accuracy. This is understanding the velocity of something and the angle and where it's gonna end up. It's being able to... he's aiming for a dragon, and then he does a really great shot. But you can see this player is using accuracy. They're trying to figure out, okay, it's going to go here, I'm tracking, okay, here. And that's very different from the two other skills we talked about. You're not really testing your timing, you're not really, you can argue that you're testing a bit of measurement and precision to get it right, but it's mostly accuracy. It's got a really high skill ceiling, and it's like very rewarding when you pull off that shot, when you ricochet a grenade off the wall and like spawn kill a bunch of enemies. It feels great, really satisfying. Yeah, instant granular feedback. So while I'm trying to do it, I feel like I have a lot of impact on what the thing I'm about to do, a lot of tension and a lot of release, and it feels like exciting to see what's about to happen. It can feel up to chance if it's not balanced correctly. So yeah, use with caution again. And it's a double-edged sword in PvP games. It feels really fun to be the person throwing the grenade from one side of the map to the other. It feels really awful to be the person spawn killed with like another grenade or a throwing knife or something. So again, balance. Reflex. This is purely just like a thing happened, do a thing. Like it's not nuanced, it's not clever, it's not difficult to perform on the controller. It is a door opening very fast and you getting jump scared. It is someone dropping a ball and you just trying to catch it. Very quick, very simple. It's a quick time event. You just got to press A at the right time. This can be really good for like, yeah, simple things that it just needs to be fast. It can kind of break people out of like a rhythm that they've gotten comfortable with. It's also, it works really well if the thing to do was obvious in hindsight. So a lot of the times players will fail the first reflex check, but if you make sure to telegraph, okay, when the boss flashes red, I need to evade. Now it's very satisfying that I've recognized that pattern, and then every time the boss flashes red, I press B, I evade, I feel awesome. It can be overwhelming if you're constantly doing it. And yeah, it can cause frustration if the consequences for failure are too big. Like if I don't notice that boss flashing once and they insta-kill me every time, I'm like, oh, really? Okay, it's frustrating. Strategy. Strategy is, how do I describe it here? So yeah, deploying a decoy to distract enemies, pulling them out of position. It's equipping a fire sword against an ice elemental for twice damage, denying the enemy their turn, moving them out of position into harm's way. Into the Breach is a great example of most of the time you're being tested on your strategy.
Tactics good.
Oh, perfect. No notes, absolutely best game. It's really powerful for when you have lots of interconnected interactions. Like the robot game we played today was purely strategy. You know, we're just thinking about the interactions that pieces make. We're using our knowledge of the metagame and how things interact to, you know, achieve mastery. So it really leverages your understanding of many systems. You know, players can take their time figuring it out. You have a heightened sense of player agency and control. Like when you pull off something smart in Into the Breach, you feel like an absolute king. Like you feel the best.
You're watching this guy make a hole at the same time as he pushes the guy.
Yeah, and it's
Clever as hell.
so clever. It's often, though, we've all done this, there may be a strategy that's very obvious to you as a developer that is not obvious to the players. And that's where playtesting comes in. You want to make sure you're not being too clever. If anybody's done D&D, it's the same principle. If you're being a DM or a GM, it's like you want the players to have fun. You don't want them to be stuck on your too clever puzzle. You want them to be like, oh, you figured out that you should use the fire on the ice, like golem, good job. Oh, you one-shot it, oh no. Yes, they feel smart, great. It can be difficult to balance between challenging and trivial. Like this is like strategy is really powerful, but you just got to play test it like all the time to make sure it's solid. And then you've got communication where applicable. Only if you're making a multiplayer game, obviously. But if you're making a multiplayer game, this can be a huge like player skill that you're testing things on. We've all played in raids or in multiplayer games where it's like, no, tell me, give me your position, tell me what's happening. And teams that are good at that at PvP are very good. They dominate. For Lethal Company, it's like a lot of the game is fairly simple interactions. You're not being tested on your like reflexes that much, on your strategy that much. You're being tested on your communication between other people. Is the guy in the chair telling you where to go? Are you cross-talking? Then you're not doing very well. So this can be awesome if you combine it with simple mechanics that it easily elevates, like, we need to press these 3 buttons. We do it fast. We need to organize 3 people. Okay, Gavin, you get 1 and 2. I'll get number 3. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's do it. Oh, now we feel great. We communicated. We high five. Done. It's really great when you have clear roles and responsibilities. You know, we've got 1 person getting aggro from the boss. We've got 2 people healing. We've got this. So whenever fire is called out, the boss is about to do a fire attack, get our 2 healers in here ASAP to preempt that. You already pre-established that, and then when you communicate, plan comes together. It's awesome. Players can blame each other. I don't know if you know this about players or playing online with other people. But in my experience, when things go wrong, there's like silence, and there's like, yeah, but if Gavin healed, though. I'm picking on Gavin a lot, I'm sorry. If he did his job and healed, though, we wouldn't be nervous. Yeah, but you need to be more careful with your call out, so it can spiral. You got to be careful to, even if you're designing the game, you can't just be like, well, that's up to players. You want to be able to design the game with systems so that people don't just always blame each other when things go wrong. So that sucks, and players won't want to play your game. Other people, ugh, gross, disgusting. I don't want to play with other people, the worst. So that's a quick tour of player skills. I'm going to take you through an example on Rift of the Necrodancer. About 6 months before we shipped the game, we had all of our boss fights in the game. They were all playable. We played them back to front. We got them play tested, and we got the same feedback where we're like, they're all a bit samey. You'll feel like, you know, not much is, I'm doing the same thing on each one. And we're like, okay, let's bring our boss fights all together. Let's line them all up, and let's see if we can like skew some towards some player skills and skew some towards some other player skills, so they feel different in the end. So we took all of our bosses in the game, and we just assigned different player skills. So our game that we're making is a rhythm-based game. It's like there's a huge emphasis on reflex and on your ability to like, you know, sight read notes as they're coming down and react. Our boss fights are kind of like a punch-out little mini game. So you've got to see what the boss is doing. If they're attacking to the right, you've got to dodge left and then go to attack. So it's always going to be a little bit of reflex. So we decided, you know, while reflex is going to be a mainstay, let's try and intersperse it with some timing and some strategy as well, so it doesn't feel like as you go through the game, you're constantly doing the same thing. We mixed up a bit. So the first one, Harmony, is the intro boss. We're just teaching you boss mechanics right now, so it's okay. It can be just about reflex, simple. We shouldn't test you on anything else. So if you're good with your reflexes, you should breeze past this boss. Should be fine. Next boss, we're like, okay, well, how do we now mix it up to give the players the expectation that, oh, all bosses aren't going to be the same. They're going to be different. So this was Queen, King and Queen. If you've played Crypt or Rift, they are the King and Queen of a chess set. They have pieces from a chess set that move like chess pieces. So the pawns just attack, like straight diagonally. The rooks will go, they'll attack you like from an angle, but in 2 moves. The castles too, I don't know what you call them. I call them castles. Oh, that's the rook. So what did I call it? The bishop.
Bishop.
That's what I know. The horse, the knight. Okay, thank you. I don't know why we have different names across the continent for these things. Across the pond, yes. There's time for my British, like Nigel Thornberry bit near the end. Yes, so in this example, the horse would, the knight would come forward and do like 2-pronged attack, and then the rook would come in and attack from the side. So your job is to understand the timing of those things. One of them is, the other one is, the other one is, and so when you see the certain enemies, you got to understand, okay, I'm seeing a knight. I know that's going to go, and so it's you understanding that timing and then performing a very simple action to do it. So you just press left to dodge. So we really focused on just timing. We gave the players lots of wind-ups. You can see it kind of like attacks them fairly slowly. So it's not about reflex anymore. It's about understanding the timing. That worked pretty well. And then for Reaper, so then we went back to reflex for another boss, and then for Reaper, second to last boss, we worked on strategy. So in this boss, you attack them, and then this wheel of skulls appear around the boss, and it all moves to the beats. It's like do, 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 and each skull that I attack will unleash a different attack pattern onto the player. So if I recognize that pattern, I might choose, okay, I know her health is down to here, so I'm going to choose the blue skull because I know that attack pattern and I know how to dodge that more effectively. Or I've done 2 white skulls in a row, and I know if I do a 3rd white skull, it's then going to overcharge the boss, and they're going to do a more powerful attack. So I'm going to use my strategy to kind of even it out a bit so that I can make it easier for myself. And that worked pretty well. So you'll see that like there is crossover between them. Nothing ever lives in pure isolation, but you can use this to kind of tweeze things apart a bit or bend them a certain way if things are feeling a little bit too like homogeneous. Here's a summary. I find this really useful. I would really encourage you, if you're using these, to just start as strong as you can in one direction. So if you're designing a bunch of classes for your game, try and design like, okay, class number 1, we should focus on, your inputs are about timing to perform certain abilities. Maybe the wizard or something, If you are a rogue, maybe it's about reflexes. It's about waiting for that opportunity to strike. The enemies have a little indicator, and as soon as you see that, you do a stealth strike. So if I am good at certain different skills, I can spec for certain things, or if I want to respec, I then can, have a different experience. I'm not just clicking things to make them die again. It's not the same. That's it for player skills. It's a quick one, but I find this really powerful, and if you do it early on, helps you from things not feeling too the same. Yeah. Happy to answer any questions. Yeah. Thoughts?
On the note of a rogue being timing, right? So you're behaving for like the perfect opportunity to get that critical strike, which makes sense. Would you put like a ranger in the accuracy field where it's trying to like land headshots, basically?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. And then strategy would be something like if you put the wizard there and he has like elemental combos, so like make ice and then shoot fire and have red and then you can electrify it or whatever, right?
There you go. So now, just by using these, we've made 3 classes that play differently, that use different player skills, but we could have just as easily had like the wizard, I click on an enemy and it fires a fireball. The rogue, I click on an enemy and it fires an arrow, but it does critical damage. But maybe they're mechanically different and maybe the strategy is different, but they still feel the same. Whereas if we purely be like, no, the wizard is all about strategy. It's not about, reflexes or timing, so then it means that their attacks take a long time to, develop. Or no, probably the opposite, that their attacks are very fast, but with a big cooldown, so I don't have to time them up to like do the thing. Whereas another class might throw potion bottles, and they might have air time and lob, and now it's about timing, because now I need to go like, and it's about accuracy as well.
I mean, even looking at Dead by Daylight killers, right? The clown has that, like, they throw a vial, it zones off of things, so it's strategy zoning as well as time on that. Whereas the huntress whips a hatchet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Most of the different killers are based off different mechanics here too.
Yeah.
Especially the trapper, he's pure strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that Reaper boss fight, I haven't played the game, I don't know for sure.
That's fine.
But with the different options you can select, did you find it was leaning to like 1 or 2 of them were just the best ones to pick consistently, or is there kind of you trying to like advise all of them equally?
No, there's definitely like an optimal strategy.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the player's not your enemy. If they find out the optimal strategy, it's like, good for you, you did it. As long as it's not trivial and obvious, yeah, that's totally fine. Like, there's definitely, our metric for success your grade on a boss fight in Rift is just how fast you do it. So the time in the bottom right. So there are definitely combinations that are like, if you do these combinations, you'll do it faster. And you have to live through less attacks as well. So if you know that strategy, you're good. Whereas the other ones are like, if you understand the timing more, now you'll get a better time, now you'll whittle the health down faster. Yeah.
You're like really thick.
I do, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, any more questions on these, or do we want to do the same thing, like pick a game and see if there's any we can tease out, like, what are some of these player skills that are being tested? Yeah? Somebody say a different game that we haven't talked about.
The original Plants vs. Zombies.
The original Plants vs. Zombies. Cool. All right. What do you think? Talk to me about player skills in Plants vs. Zombies.
Strategy is the core.
Yeah.
As a tactics game.
Some of them are reflex depending on the different zombies you got.
Mm.
Because some effects, like some plants you use are just like one-time uses, and so you have to like time those correctly. It'd be very quick with some of them.
There's a point where sometimes you want to drop that acorn, the walnut.
I can also, Sam, I can also see that there is some reflex too of like, oh, my defense is down. I need to quickly assess what's going on,
Rebuild everything.
quickly reflex build some stuff. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure one of the zombies acts kind of like the Lord of the Rings, where the one guy suicide bombs and blows the hole in the walls with like his chair.
Yeah.
So like, I'm pretty sure there's a zombie where you're going to the wall with the jokes and you've got to adapt and reset, right?
Angry Birds, yeah. So we did Plants vs. Zombies, that's a good one. Yeah, so what would you say Angry Birds mostly focuses on?
Dexterity, accuracy.
Yeah?
Like those are the big ones.
Because Angry Birds, you still, so the accuracy is aiming your shot, right? Yeah. The measurement and dexterity, I think there's a second phase on some of the birds where you literally have to click it at the right time for special things to happen, right?
Basically like
But if I'm picking up what you're putting down, are you saying the dexterity measurement is like I physically have to like?
Measure with your finger.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah?
Also, there's like secondary effects to the birds.
Yeah? So then, okay, design challenge then. If I said, you know, I'm a producer.
Yeah. There's also the strategy on the, because it's also the, these are on a platform.
Yeah.
And there's the win condition on each level is how many moves it takes to get the platform ball.
Yeah, so you got strategy.
So it's like, yeah, so you can even beat the level without hitting a single pig or something.
Yeah. All right, so say, okay, we got Angry Birds. Let's do this example. Say I was like, okay, all the Angry Birds levels that we've got so far, like, you're all on the Angry Birds team. We're all at Rovio? Rovio. Hey, folks, we need more level, like they're all accuracy based. All of them are, if I just get the right accuracy with this bird, I can just one-shot each one. We need more variety. It's gonna feel too samey. What do you got?
Introduce different materials.
Yeah, how would that leverage different player skills? Demand different player skills.
The best example I can think of is that the pigs can like spawn a shield at a specific instance.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to click your bird in response to that. So we introduce some
Okay.
flex timing on there, right? So pigs can have a barrier or something, and you've got to burst, use your bird's active ability to get past it in specific ways.
Yeah, and so maybe on those levels we lower the accuracy requirement. We make it just like a huge pig, right? And then the shield is like da-dun, 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 and now I've just got to time it. Totally. Yeah.
Can you shoot like a bird soon after another?
No.
But let's say we're developing the game. Let's say the game hasn't come out yet. So
So then maybe there was like something, I don't know, I don't really have an example, but you could shoot and then you have to shoot the other one
Before it resets.
yeah,
to make it do something else.
that's cool. So that might be the,
different ability of some sort.
yeah, that might.
The two birds teaming up, right? Because you're talking about you have the level reset after you shoot one bird, or after a certain amount of time, every 5 seconds the full level resets. If you fire, say, one and then two, you can break a wall and then fire in to do what you want.
Yeah. And what I'm picking up for you is like I can see a version of that that's like that's asking the player to use dexterity and measurement more, because now I have to like fire one and then quickly with the same thumb fire a different one in quick succession. That's tougher to do. I got to go putung putung.
Say one bird cuts a rope and it drops a bomb, and the other one is supposed to hit the
Yeah.
bomb and make it explode.
But just doing it fast is hard. Like Angry Birds right now, as we know it, is like you just fire one, see what happens. Whereas what you're suggesting is like, fire one, now quickly fire another. You're putting more demands on my dexterity and my measurement to be able to do it. That works?
There was a new, I remember, that had like a pretty strong timing aspect to it where you could launch them and then halfway through, like while they're in the air at a certain point, change your trajectory.
Yep.
But you have to time it properly or else you'll fudge your shot.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, if you tap again, it had like a secondary effect.
Yeah, I think there was like it looked like a bomber or something, like a little like bird that would dive under the water and you could launch it up and then at a certain point you could put press and it would dive straight down. Oh, there was that one too.
Oh, yeah. These are all awesome examples. So we've taken a game that if I imagine that they had some kind of conversation like this in their dev team, because it's pretty like, you know, you get put together a prototype that's just, you know, flinging birds thing, and then it's like, what else you got? Like after I can fling the, after I can take out the one strut on the pyramid, now it's, okay, what if we have different materials that now you've got to strategize around? Well, do you take out the stone block first, or do you take out this one? What if we have the timing thing? So this is it. This is what it looks like to have those conversations before the game comes out.
There was also like kind of a rock, paper, scissors thing where like certain birds were better at taking out different materials. So the yellow one could bust through wood.
Yeah.
The bomb was really good for blowing up stone.
And they introduce those birds at different levels to introduce those mechanics.
Yeah. And now we've already talked about how, like, okay, if you go onto a new world or a new set of levels or if a new DLC pack comes out and we're like, do you know what? Players are sick of reflexes. Like, they complain too much about that bird. They don't want timing. They don't like those things too. We can then dial those down and be like, we just won't include any of those mechanics, and we'll up the focus on the other ones instead. So now the DLC comes out and people are like, oh yeah, it feels different, feels fresh. And we're like, cool, we did a good job. Rather than just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this? Wouldn't it be cool if this? We're now using player skills to inform our design decisions and do good things. Cool. I'm going to keep going. And by keep going, I mean walk over here and put on another slide.
Fully in section 2.
Now we're fully in section 2. So we are done with game design stuff for the most part. Some of you would have seen this one before. I'm happy to go into more detail. Then we're going to go through, like, this is an inside scoop of stuff that I learned throughout, like, my game dev journey. Take from it something that you find useful, throw away something that you don't find useful. Again, it's a toolbox for you to pick from. After this, I've also got more of a specific thing about, like, networking, about, you know, again, do's and don'ts, and some things that I've seen work really well, and, you know, the things that I've seen work not super well, and things that I've done that haven't gone super well. So hopefully sharing those will get you a little bit ahead of the curve. You don't have to go through some embarrassment that I did. But inside scoop, this is me. I worked on these games. Aren't they great? These are some common design pitfalls that I've found. I've done them all many times. Going to share them with you so you don't do them. Talked about this a lot already. Say yes to the player. They're not your enemy. You want them to have fun. You want them to find exploits in your game. You want them to be on Discord, be like, this is OP. I found the strategy. This character is S tier. This character is F tier. Forget, you want them to be having those discussions, and you want to lean into it. You don't, again, you don't want it to be too, you know, if players are only ever going to the loot cave in Destiny and not doing anything, that's bad. But if they do it for a bit, then they're like, cool, you found this thing. An example is I can think of in Assassin's Creed game I worked on for a little bit. There was a discussion around, well, when we have leveling in Odyssey, I can always just go to this one outpost, murder everybody, and I level up each time. And I'm like, yes. Like, well, that's an exploit. Like, I spend time taking down this outpost, and I always level up by taking down these high-level units. I'm like, how long did it take you to do that? About 20 minutes. Okay, so you're playing the game, and you're leveling up. You're using your knowledge of their weak to ranged attacks to level up faster. Doesn't sound like an exploit to me, or it sounds like you're having fun as a player. Yeah.
I think in the Oblivion ring, there's also that, there's an exploit where you can get your lock picking up super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everything needs to be super balanced. It's okay for things to be unbalanced. It's okay to have exploits. Use procedural tools. They will save you a bunch of time. There's a bunch of times where like you don't need everything to be handcrafted. You can just randomize a bunch of stuff or put together a procedural system to like bolt together different pieces of equipment. That's totally fine. Avoid this. Don't over leverage it. It can be very exciting to discover a procedural tool to be like, oh, I can use, I got a range of stats for this machine gun from here to here, and I randomize, you do the Borderlands thing where sometimes it's like, every gun I get is totally different. There's billions of guns in Borderlands. It's like, yeah, but not really. Like,
Thousands have slightly different firearms.
exactly. Like there's lots of guns, but I don't really care. Like, there's a million of them here that I don't care about. They all feel the same.
Only 3 are actually kind of the best.
Exactly. Yeah. So avoid it like where you can, like use procedural tools, but just shoot your shot when you need something that's like more volume and you don't need that fidelity, use it, but cut it off before it starts to feel like, oh, I'm just trudging through, I don't care. This is a great technique. Put fruit on your oatmeal is a great way to think about it. So you have these procedural tools that gives you a baseline amount of content. Go back through it and add a little spice to it. Or go back through it and it might be like you do one final pass and handcraft some distinctions. So you might make 100 different machine guns with procedural tools, and then you might go back through them and be like, this one should have fire damage, this one's ice damage, this one's ice and fire damage. So make sure to then go back and make them each feel unique. Playtesting feedback is awesome. Everybody should be playtesting their games all the time. Just period. Throughout your entire career, playtesting is always the best. You don't always have to listen to what people say. People will always, your job as a game developer is to intuit and to watch them play and to figure out what's going on. Players will always tell you the same kinds of things. They'll always tell you, I want to be more powerful. I don't like the bad thing that happened. I want the bad thing to happen less to me. Oh, but I want the bad thing to happen more to other people.
Feels really good when it happens to the guy in the lead.
Yeah. Everybody complains about the blue shell. Well, not quite as much. There was game dev silly discourse, 10 years ago about is the blue shell good in Mario Kart? Yes, the blue shell is Mario Kart. If you take out the blue shell, you haven't got Mario Kart.
On the other side, adding tripping to Smash Brothers was a mistake.
No comment.
Tripping.
Yeah.
So in Smash on the Wii, they added in tripping.
You can just
they were trying
fall.
to make Smash more of a party game in the same way as Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Tripping just meant that as you're running at your opponent, sometimes you just.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a terrible idea.
But yes, we can all agree that is a terrible idea, and it's the audience part of it, right? It's like there's an audience mismatch. The players that play Smash Bros. You can play it as a party game, but your real hardcore players are playing it as a competitive game, so they don't want randomized things that'll happen. Most people aren't coming to Mario Kart for a highly competitive PvP experience. This case, I did this slide before Mario Kart World. They've gotten a lot closer. There's tech in that game that's crazy. But anyway, players will always ask you for stronger gun. I don't want the bad thing. Listening to their feedback is good, but if you watch them play, you'll get then. Oh, different slide. If you watch them play, you'll see them be like, I want more powerful guns. And you might see, you had the most powerful gun in the game. Okay, you don't feel like it's powerful. Classic example, okay, let's up the sound effects on this gun. Let's up the muzzle flash. Let's up the screen shake. Now it's like, do you want to play it again? Oh, this gun is way more powerful now. Okay, cool, great. You just didn't feel like it was powerful before. Yeah. We talked about this before, but this is just really useful if you're starting from scratch on something. Just promise you, start off if you're making levels, just do circle, square, triangle, and make levels that really adhere to this is using circular shape language and curves. This is using angular 45, 90 degrees. This is using triangular. So you will get to a better result, more distinct result. And then take that same methodology and apply it to a bunch of stuff, because it really, really always works. Own your design failures. You will fail a lot, all the time. Game dev is a series of failures, and you come out with like, this game is held up by duct tape and hopes and dreams. Like, please like it, please play it. No game, every game I've ever worked on, as soon as it comes out, I'm like, I know exactly where all the faults are. I know exactly like what we should have done better, what we'll do better next time. Own it. Just take those learnings on to the next game. The most important thing is to be shipping games and to not like, don't not ship your game because you're afraid of it not being perfect. You got to keep going. But own it too. Nobody's perfect. An example. This is one of the first games I was involved in. It was called My Style. It was for iOS on the iPhone. This is when Farmville was super big, and we were like, guys, Farmville is kicking off. We need to make a version of Farmville that's more, more like Bratz. Bratz is doing really well right now. So ours was, you were a agent for this superstar, and think Farmville. You got to click on tiles. You got to train them up in music. You got to get record deals for them, manage them, kind of like Sims-like elements. It was kind of a little bit of fun. And then we decided, okay, what would an agent do? An agent would, we had an API that we could use from Orange, one of our partners in the UK, Orange Telecom, and it would spoof a call to the user. And we were like, what if you're the agent, if the fantasy is that you're this person's agent, what if they called you? What if they call you while you're not playing the game to be like, hey, I'm getting swarmed by paparazzi. You got to come back to the game and help me. We're all like, that is the best idea I've ever heard.
The most intrusive.
That is, yeah. You're saying when somebody is doing their own thing and not playing our game, we're going to call them? And then our director was like, better yet, we will only make this available if you pay a subscription for it. You have to pay £5 a month, and then for the privilege of this game calling you. Like, that is genius. This is amazing. This is going to be revolutionary. It was not revolutionary. I'm sure you can all see that's an awful idea. Nobody wants that. Maybe.
It's a great excuse to get out of something. Sorry, my game's calling me.
Yeah.
What would have been great is for that to be the free option, and then you have to pay to
Not
pay.
get the
I see you went to a business school of evil as well. This was a horrible, horrible design idea that I was behind. I was like, yeah, this is awesome, let's do it. So, own it. I will never do that again. As soon as someone is like, yeah, well, let's bother the player while they're not playing the game, I'm like, absolutely not. Let me tell you a story. We did this thing. It didn't turn out well. It almost bad things happened. Before we shipped the game, and then we shipped it with that feature, and then we were surprised when 2 people subscribed to it and then canceled within a week of subscribing to it. I think they did it by accident, or their children did it or something. Bad. And then we spent all this time and money and resources into these mini games that you could only play if you subscribed to this thing. It was just a bad design. Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, you two need to make a game together. You'll make millions and millions. Own it. You will look back in 5 years and 10 years and be like, how the heck did I think that was a good idea? That was so dumb from every angle. That will keep happening. Then in 20 years, you'll look back again and be like, that was dumb. It happens. Own it. Keep going. Get things in the game. Just put things in the game. It's really easy to do, paper prototyping, awesome. This kind of stuff, amazing. Theory crafting and doing the exercises that I said and doing game pillars, awesome. Put it in the game. That should be your #1 priority. Do the groundwork and make the design robust, but don't stay there too long. If you find yourself staying there too long, just be like, let's put it in the game. Let's be ready to take it out of the game if it doesn't work. But let's see what happens. And you'll discover new things. There'll be new synergies that happen. There'll be new experiences that come around. You'll learn more. And you might learn this was a terrible idea. We should never do this again. And that's very valuable in game dev. It'll save you loads of time to do it early and then be like, never again will we add a jetpack into this game. Bad idea. Soft skills for designers and for just anyone really. I'm gonna move this mouse out the way. No, I'm not. There it is. Designers do not have all the game ideas. That's the thing that I thought going into, being 16, be like, I want to be a game designer. I'm going to come up with all the ideas. I'm going to write my own Final Fantasy game, and it's going to be like all my ideas and my battle system, my everything. It's not how it works, as you know. Everybody needs to have buy-in on the design. A great designer works with the team, and it works with the team to help the design, like everybody put the pieces together. Every single one of us in this room have amazing design ideas and ideas that would be great game mechanics and features. But the people that stand out as but you're a game designer, that's like your whole thing is your ability to then take everybody's ideas and be like, okay, these ones fit together really well. These ones, while good, don't fit together. Or fit together in a different game. We should put that aside and think about that because it's cool, but that's not this game. Be a professional. The best design doesn't always ship. You might have the most amazing idea, but for lots of very good reasons, you just can't ship it. You don't have time, you don't have the expertise. It's too hard. You can't do it. Be open to hearing suggestions, concerns, and compromises. Things will always change during development. No game design game design document survives contact with code, with the engine, with players. It's always changing. That's game dev. Trust your team. Ensure they have the creative freedom if they want it. I've worked with a bunch of engineers who I would go to and be like, what do you think about the game design? And they're like, I don't know, man, I just want to code like shaders. Don't talk, it stresses me out when you talk to me about game design. You got it, I'm gonna do this.
Just tell me what you need me to code.
Whereas there's some artists who are like, hey, I don't feel like I want to be a part of the abilities design for this MOBA that you're making because if I'm part of the design, I can then, I'm good at drawing anthropomorphic characters, so I can help be like, this guy's got bare arms and he tunnels and he, does all the stuff. So yeah, they can be a help as well. This is definitely 100% how to get a job in games. This will always work 100% of the time. Get ready. Don't listen to anything I say. I'm a 35-year-old dude that got into video games 16 years ago. It is not the same. Things have changed. I would have told you the advice given to me 16 years ago was you should just quit university and just go make a game by yourself. I went to loads of conferences and got loads of people's advice, and they were like, just quit everything you're doing, go make a game, and just sell millions like we did. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna do that, though.
Launch in the garage, do that.
Yeah, loads of people will tell you loads of different things, including you know better from your perspective. Nobody else is in your shoes from the industry. Nobody else has the same background. Take it all with a pinch of salt. The industry is a bit tough right now. I don't know if you have seen. It is not as shiny and rosy as it could be. It sucks. There is hope. Things are getting better. More funding is coming back into games. More small indies are doing really well. We talked about Peak. There was a relatively cheap game that they made with 4 people, very experienced.
They were, what, it was a month in Hong Kong?
Yeah, very experienced dev team, but that can happen. And there's loads more advantages now for smaller games than there were 10, 20 years ago. 10, 20 years ago, you're if you need a publisher to even get in on a platform, now you can go directly through PlayStation Indie, you can go directly through Xbox Indie, you can go directly to Steam. It's never been easier to get a game out to people than now, which is awesome. This is, I realize now, an AI-generated image of Seneca, so ignore that part. But this quote is really good. I like it a lot. Getting a job is a lot about getting lucky. It just is, and that sucks, and that's bad advice to give to people. Be lucky. But truly, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. The more prepared you are and the more ready you are to seize an opportunity, then when one comes along, you can jump on it. You build up your network, you build up your portfolio, you sharpen your skills. You have a game that you have shipped just by yourself with a bunch of buddies on Steam that you can point to and be like, I made that. I made these 3 things. So the more you do stuff like that, when opportunity comes along, you will have a better shot. It might still not work. It might still be really tough. That sucks. It's possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. Thank you, Picard. That sucks, but that happens. Give yourself a break if that's happening. It is tough right now. So, unmute me if you will. Please take everything I say with a huge dash of salt. Hopefully, a bunch of these things will increase your luck and make you more prepared, ready to take those opportunities. Take it with salt. So, yeah, how to increase your odds. Finish and ship games. Just do it. It doesn't have to be a good game. Preferably it's a good game, but it doesn't have to be a good game. I get a lot of resumes through. I've hired a lot of designers. I've said no to a lot of designers. Every single time, or game devs, every single time, I look for the ones that have shipped games. Honestly, especially if it's a junior position, I'm not very interested in how good the game is. Because frankly, it's probably not going to be that great. You're probably not coming to me for a job if your game is the best game in the world. Like if it's selling a huge amount, you're good. You don't need to come to me to ask for a job. You're good, all power to you. You're probably a better game dev than I am. All the games I made were really bad. And I made them in game jams, and I made them with a bunch of friends, and they're all janky and horrible and fun for 2 minutes before you realize that they're fundamentally flawed. But me being able to go with my resume with I've made 5 games. Here they are. They're on itch. They're on whatever it was at the time. You can go play them. I'm confident that nobody I gave my resume to played any of those games. They looked at screenshots of them and went, okay, he's made some games. Yeah, let's ask him for an interview. And it gives me something to talk about in the interview. They're like, what are your skills? Oh, well, during this game, how do you deal with this kind of problem? Oh, well, when we were developing this game, this happened and this happened. Oh, okay, cool, great. It just helps a lot. They don't need to be good. They just need to get out the door and build up your portfolio.
What am I looking at? Is that a Skype game?
That's a great question. Okay, what have we got? We've got Salvage. This is a RTS game where, like a 2D RTS game where you have a day and night cycle. It's like Pikmin. You've crash landed on Mars. You got to click on parts of the screen to send robots to go to resource nodes. They can get trapped in quicksand. They can go to mine things. That's it. This is a clay motion, stop motion game. We built a tower out of not Playmobil, the more professional clay. That's the one. And did a 3D scan of it, and you rotate around. In the game, you are this little jellyfish, and you got to rotate around and swim and avoid these spiky urchin boys and get to the top.
It reminds me of Fusion Frenzy.
Sure. Did they copy our idea?
No, that was an old Xbox.
Oh, we copied their idea. Okay, great.
You actually made all the assets out of physical clay.
I did not. The artist. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What was it? Clay Fighters? Was that the N64?
Yeah. And that was one of our.
Clay Fighters is sick. Yeah, it's 3D scans. Yeah, they did the Mortal Kombat thing where they took it real life.
Yeah, and that was one of our restrictions. We were the artist we were working with was well, I haven't made any digital art, but I'm really good at claymation stuff. We're fantastic, our game is a claymation game now. So then all of our scope was well, how can we contain the game into one scene? Let's make it rotate this thing. And it just built up from there, so play to your strengths too. This one's just it's very good. It's a clock, it rotates, there's cheese. It's called Cheese Time. You're a platforming mouse, you collect cheese. And the one on the right is an infinite runner where you just press spacebar to go back and forth on the thing, and you collect numbers, and the higher numbers you collect, the bigger score you are. So they're all very short, very small games. That's a terrible rhythm game where it's we did our best. But yeah, I'm confident. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good it was. No one's playing that. I'm applying to a job for. Nobody. They might watch a YouTube video of it. Thank you.
We'll go find your itch later.
It looks like it would be really entertaining on Twitch.
Maybe.
No?
You're being hyper, you're the imagined version of what, so this is a good example, right? Like if you're looking to hire somebody, your imagined version of what this is probably 100 times better than what it actually is. And that's fine, that's what I mean, like get that game out the door because a recruiter or a designer or a producer or an artist that's hiring you is very unlikely to play these games. They're gonna go scroll, scroll, scroll. Oh, 5 games. Oh, they're all on itch. Click, click, click. I can download it. YouTube video. Okay, cool. In the inbox you go, now you're more likely to get a callback. So really, please do make something. It's the best way to practice. You get better at every stage of production. It helps build your portfolio. There's something very different from like, it's very difficult to finish games. It's always difficult to finish games. And I'm always looking for people like, if I'm looking through resumes, I'm looking for people who can finish a game from start to finish or who know all the different stages of production. If you've only started like, I've started 10 games and I've made design documents for 10 games, it tells me very clearly like you don't know what to do next or you haven't done that before. So it's more challenging to bring that person on. It helps you develop additional skills. Every new game you make, you figure something else out, you have new problems, you make new mistakes, you learn from them, you won't do them again. And truly, one finished product is better than 10 unfinished things. Please, if you take nothing else away from this, just finish things. They don't need to be good, they just need to be done and finished. Do not be subtle in a portfolio. It is not a time to understate your work. It is not a time to be like, oh, I was part of the team that helped do a little bit of this. I was the artist. I made the art, I did all the assets. I own the game design for this thing. Really highlight it in my face because I've probably got 10 seconds of scrolling through your resume and your portfolio to make a decision. Do not be subtle. Please don't make me go through loads of text. I truly wish I did have that time. I do not. Please don't be subtle. A portfolio is your resume's backup, so your resume is like a snapshot of who you are as a person, what you're about, the skills you have. A resume is not where you list absolutely everything you've ever done. It's just a snapshot. I go from your resume to be like, oh, it's pretty good. Oh, I can make experienced game developer. Experienced game developer. Okay, what games has this person made? I now go to your portfolio, and if I don't find any games there, then I'm like, I don't know if that's true. Or like, if that is true, why would you not show it to me? So your portfolio needs to back up what your resume is saying. And again, like, I'm not saying volume over quantity, like quantity over quality, but there should be enough there. But it should be like very sharp, very pointy, and not very subtle at all. Yeah, it is a living document. It sucks. It's a pain in the butt to have to keep updating it, to have to keep polishing it. It just needs to be a living document. It needs to be tailored for the job that you want. Again, I get it. It sucks. It's a lot of effort. If you're applying to a job at, an indie studio that only makes multiplayer games, and all I see in your resume is single-player RPGs, that's not going to work. But if you have worked on other multiplayer stuff, but it's like in a different section of your portfolio, please send me a PDF version of your portfolio that just talks about that. You don't need to talk about the stuff that's not super relevant. Again, it sucks, it's a lot of effort. It will increase your odds exponentially. When I was working at Ubisoft, I get loads of resumes through for I'm a jack of all trades, artist, engineer, and programmer, and a designer. And I'm like, well, at Ubisoft, we're very, you're a designer. Yeah. So that's not gonna work. This is not gonna work out for either of us. So know the company that you're applying to as well. Know if they do have more siloed roles, or if they do have more open roles, tailor your resume. Oh yeah, and it's not a guarantee, it's not an interview, it is the start of a conversation. So you don't need to have all of the details in there, you just need it to be punchy enough for me to understand. Please show me your progress, especially if you're a designer. This is like catnip to me. This is, if you show me this in your portfolio, I'm like, you're in. This is amazing. I don't need to understand what this is. I still don't understand what this is, and this has been in my slides for like years and years. This just shows me that you've thought about it. And you've thought about like, okay, the flow of this space and how to go from A to B and your objectives. It should take 1 to 2 minutes, yep, yep, yep. I'm like, yep, I would do all those things. Fantastic, this person gets it. Please show me some blockouts. If you're an artist, please show me your early work. Show me what inspired you. Don't just show me the finished product, especially now in the age of AI. It's even more important to show me what you started with, show me the things that failed too. Be like, but make it clear that those are the ones that failed. Be like, hey, I tried this, I didn't like this because the focal point wasn't clear enough, whatever. Now I get to go on that journey with you, I get to understand what makes you tick and see if you have the eye for it. Yeah, show me some of your layouts, show me some of your scripting. Again, I'm not gonna understand what this does. I'm gonna scroll through and go, scripting, cool, they got it. Fantastic, awesome, that's what I need. Show me your spatial planning if you're a designer or an environment artist. Again, this is showing me just this doesn't tell me a lot. But if you show me this, now I'm like, oh, they've divided up all of those areas. You know, there's the high ground there that's built up with higher like buildings, the temple region, there's the poorer district on the right, there's traffic, like roads that go through the city. Oh, you've planned this, okay. It's really good for D&D. Yeah, please, please show me stuff like this. This is awesome. Show me some design decks, but don't show me a 100-page document. Just like highlight some of the best parts. You could have it as a PDF if you want. I might download it, see it's 100 pages, go, oh, okay. But pull out some cool examples. No one's gonna read thousands of words, but highlight the good stuff. Show me some diagrams. Again, I'm not going to understand the nuance of it, but just if I see this, if I see this, if I see diagrams, you're starting to tell me like, yeah, I get it. I'm a designer, I'm an engineer, I'm an artist. I understand the inner workings of these things. Show me that you have influences outside of games and you've used to inspire your work. Like, again, this comes across very strongly. If you are really into woodworking, tell me about it, show me that you took the form of like whittling and woodwork and you applied it to your art that you made. Now I'm like, okay, yes, great, what's inspired you? It's also a great way, especially for designers, for your work not to get stagnant, that you don't just take like, well, I took inspirations from these other games. Tell me about the films that you watched that inspired you for the story of this game. Tell me about the class that you took on molecular biology, which inspired you with this mechanic. Like, tell me about that, that's awesome. Sounds very hypocritical after I told you to show me all this stuff, but don't show me too much. Like, show me the best of all of these things in a really clear way that if I'm just scrolling through, I can see it all. If you show me this and expect me to, this might have all of the stuff that I'm asking for, but I'm just not going to understand what I'm looking at. It is Assassin's Creed Unity, yes. I liked it too.
I started playing it, but then there was way too much that I gave up.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah. Give me ammunition to fight for you. Like, a lot of the time, if I want to give you a callback, I'm looking for stuff to be like, this person is probably going to be good because they've showed me it in their portfolio in this and this and this. So like, the more ammunition you can give me, the more I can go bat for you if I think that you're a good fit. If you don't give me stuff, it's really hard for me to go digging for things to, try and help. Be open to many roles. Like, you may be lucky and go straight into game dev and get the exact role that you want. I know about 90% of the people that I work with have gone into game dev through other ways, or they've started out in QA and then moved over to design, or they've started out in animation and then moved over to art, etc. Be open to a bunch of roles. Each one of these is so multi-layered, especially if we want to work like in AAA, especially if you want to go work in indie, you'll need to be able to wear many hats and do many things. It's a huge bonus. I also know many people who are like, I'm only looking for writing gigs on visual romance novels. And I'm like, I really hope that works out for you. that is already so tight of a job pool that you're now after. Whereas if
2 games at least a year in that genre?
Sure.
Date everything and then you got a boyfriend or something?
and if you get one of those roles, amazing, great. But if you're a writer or if you like building worlds, then be open to you might get a gig for working on a kind of game that's not your jam. You might work on if you're not the biggest Call of Duty fan, but you might be lucky and get a role on a Call of Duty-esque game, and you might not be like, my military shooter's not really my thing, but I get to learn, and I get to start getting some experience together. I'm gonna say nobody, I'm very unlikely to land your dream job directly out of college, be open to a bunch of stuff, The first games I worked on for like 5 years were Kinect games. And Kinectimals and Kinect Sports, and that was not where I saw before that for 2 years I worked on a bunch of HoloLens stuff in the very early days where it was like a Ghostbusters backpack you had to put on. And that's like huge visor that you had to wear. You could only put it on for 2 minutes before it overheated and you had to put it down again. What I'm saying is I didn't need glasses when I started that job, and now I need glasses like all the time.
That's just the last place I played for UC Conqueror.
Yeah.
Crazy place to die.
One of the people that gets to wear like the motion capture suit.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, but it was not my dream to come out of college and be like, I was like, what project are you working on? He told me it was really secret. And he's like, get this, you're gonna work on HoloLens. We're gonna work on greeting cards for HoloLens because we have a contract with Microsoft. And I'm like, cool. All right, yeah, okay, let's do the thing. And that was one of my first design gigs, but I learned a huge amount. And then while I was there within the company, I was like, hey, you're making Elite Dangerous, space game. I like space games. Can I work on that? And exactly. So be open to a bunch of stuff. I don't know if I mentioned this. For real, ship a game. It does not need to be good. It just needs to be done. Please just ship games and keep shipping games. And that's it. I got one more section. Do you want to keep rolling? It's like a shorter section. Do you want to take a 5-minute break?
5-minute break?
Say ship games,
Yeah.
I mean, put a game on Steam, hit publish, get your friends and family to play it. It has 10 reviews on it that are all like, my sister, brother, niece made this game, and I think it's neat. Fantastic. Honestly, I would never expect anybody's student project or first lot of games to be good. So I'm not looking for that. That would be very unfair. I'm looking for, is it done? Have you been able to call it done and gone, that's it? Yeah.
What's Twine?
Twine is for graphic novels. You basically, it's a graphic novel engine, so you can just type out all the, how do I phrase this? It's an engine specifically made for graphic novels. So you type in all of your dialogue that you want, and then whenever you want a dialogue choice, it just threads it all together. It's all the visual scripting things. There's no programming required. You throw out a bunch of images. You right-click when you want animations to come in. It's like PowerPoint kind of style. So any one of us could go make a Twine graphic novel in the weekend. Yeah, just go do it. Ship it.
Go make Hooked on You, which is the Dead by Daylight dating sim.
Yes.
So you could almost use it to set up
Yeah, I'm just going to go right now and go Twine. Oh, no, not Twine Game Dev.
It's open source, y'all. Open source. Open source.
It's open source. Yeah. So you build your game just like this, where it's like this happens, and you make this choice, and then this happens, and this happens, and this happens. It displays this dialogue, and this dialogue, and this dialogue.
Fun fact, this is a better way of doing it than Undertale did. Undertale is all switch cases.
Oh.
All of Undertale's dialogue is all in one massive switch case.
Yeah, but that was probably on purpose because it's like the fragility of the soul or something. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to take a drink, actually. But yeah, before I move on to networking stuff, does anybody have any? I appreciate you all taking, like, here's what somebody who's been in the industry for a while has to say about getting a job now. Like, I get it, but increasing your odds is very helpful.
I had a question.
Yeah.
You showed off a design deck. As someone who does know how to code and also is more interested in design things in the first place,
Yeah.
what should a design deck look like? How do you make one besides the obvious, which is it seems to be a PowerPoint?
Yeah, how you make a design deck? That's a really good question. So, a design deck isn't a complete, like, here's everything that happens in your game, but it's a high-level combination of a bunch of stuff that we talked about. It's like, okay, what are the game pillars? How are you going to support those game pillars with gameplay loops? What kind of features, it's a very high-level overview of what your game is and the design that's going to support those, like, experiences that you want. So yeah, it should be short. It should present you some clear, like, systems. So here it's like, hey, mission start. This is what a mission looks like. You go through these beats. This is how the procedural mission system is going to work. You don't need to have built any of this, but it's your vision for the game.
So it's going to be similar to a pitch deck then?
To a pitch deck? Yeah, you can call it a pitch deck.
With a design deck, would you include things like people in the market analysis in there? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like these are the games.
If it's a pitch deck, I think you'd focus more on the audience, but if it's a design deck, I think you'd focus more on the audience motivations behind it. So in your pitch deck, it might be like, we're going after players that like rogue builders, like Balatro and Slay the Spire. In a design deck, I would expect you to say that and then go, here's what those players like. And here's how we're going to serve those players by using these systems and these mechanics and this stuff. Cool.
Yeah, it sounds like, so the design deck is something that you show, like if we were to hand it to you, if we were applying or something.
Yeah, I think depends what kind of job you're after. If you're after a design job, I would want to see, like, cool, what are some design docs you've put together? And this could be I designed a system for this game. Here's the design deck that goes through this system of this game. Or here's a design deck that goes through the overall pillars and game loops. So it doesn't need to be the whole thing. It could be something that you actually used in development, or it could be something that you, frankly, after the fact, been like, well, here's a snapshot of what the design deck would look like if for this game. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So some of the stuff I see online is like, don't worry about making a game design document. It's not really necessary for making your small games or whatever.
Yeah.
But from a professional point of view, someone who's like actually working professionally in an industry,
Yeah.
it's like if you want to apply for something, you want to work in the industry, you want to have game design documents that you can showcase, show that you've actually like gone through the process of making the game in a proper way, that you can show that you've actually successfully document.
The boring answer is it depends. If you want to work at Blizzard or Naughty Dog or a AAA studio that puts a lot of focus on design first, you want to show them your design deck. You want to show them that in detail design documentation. If you want to apply for a small indie studio, probably not. Yeah, they probably don't do that, or they do it in a very very quick way, and they value prototyping more. So that's also part of it, is like tailor your portfolio towards who you're applying to. Like, do some research. I'm sure you can Google that company's name and be like, how do they normally design games? And then show them stuff in your portfolio that matches that. You can even just ask, like, game devs, I'll go into this in a bit with networking. game devs, hello, I'm here. My name is Aaron, talking to you about game design. Game devs love talking about their work and what they do. So I've never once gotten a message that's like, hey, can you how do you design stuff at BYG, at Ubisoft, this? I'm like, let me tell you. I'm very excited to tell you about it. So if you're applying to somewhere, just go ask and be like, hey, I wouldn't necessarily tell them you're applying, not in a secretive way. If they ask you, I tell them. Being like, hey, I'm really interested in how you design stuff. This. Do you have certain steps you go through? And more often than not, they'll tell you. And then you can be like, awesome, thanks. In my portfolio, I always make sure to do this, 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 and this.
So when it comes to the design deck, right?
Yeah.
Say you're trying to work on one, you're trying to start one up, and you're trying to really just put some of those projects you worked on. And maybe not everything was ended up getting into the game, right?
Yeah.
But you did a lot of planning, you did a lot of thinking, especially for game jam games, where it's I had this really cool idea, but we all suck at code, and this is the end result, but this is the idea, right?
Yeah.
Which it happens. Is there for a design deck for that sort of thing, would you want to be like, oh yeah, these were our 3 pillars, these were our core gameplay that we did, we're thinking, just fully have that. Is there any framework that you recommend for a design deck? Besides obviously the stuff we went through today, the core pillars, the user story, the gameplay loop?
Yeah, that.
Yeah, those ones.
I would do that. Again, I would do your research on who you're applying to, tailor it to that. This is a personal opinion, but I've always looked at design decks as scientific documents. It's what is your hypothesis?
Yeah.
What is your reasoning for that hypothesis? How are you going to test that hypothesis? What happened? And then you can put it didn't work. We thought that this would work well, but it did not.
With that in mind, and we're just trying to get exercise practice with it.
Yeah.
Is there value in playing a game and trying to reverse engineer the design deck?
Yes, I wouldn't go.
Or at least working through the 3 things we went over today for that.
Yeah, I think that is a good idea. Interesting. I haven't seen that, but what would impress me is if you picked a game that was not well trodden already. If you're doing one on Zelda, I'm like, okay, great.
You like the bugs. So
there's 1,000 YouTube videos that you can see with their own takes on the design of Zelda. It doesn't tell me a lot, but if you say, here's this really obscure indie game that I played, and here's why I love it, that's awesome. That's great, and that teaches me something, because I wouldn't have heard about that game before. But don't give me, I wouldn't recommend doing a design doc for Last of Us, or for...
Design doc of White Bucket. It's cool as hell.
I know what that is.
It's a rock climbing game where you climb out of underground silo where the floor is full of fleshy mess and it climbs
Ooh, that sounds metal as hell. I love it.
It's super intuitive too, the way they've done the controls. Your left and right trigger is your hands grabbing onto things.
Yeah.
And they have stamina, so you've got to switch hands too. Really good game.
Cool. Yeah. I suppose so, yeah.
You were mentioning trying other roles.
Yes.
Are there any roles that you've tried out that you really like?
Ooh.
That you don't normally do?
Yeah, that's a really good question. When I was in AAA, not so much, because AAA is AAA, and it's you are a designer and you need to go really deep into design. Even within game design and level design, so I started off as a game designer doing economy design for that mobile game that you saw. I then moved on to Frontier, where I did more systems design and combat design for their games. When I got a job at Ubisoft, I wanted to be a game designer, but they only had a level design opening. So I applied for the level design opening. And I showed them all the levels that I kind of made for, I had to make levels to test my combat systems. So I showed them those levels. And they were like, great, you should be a level designer here. So then I did a bunch of layout design, and then over the course of different projects, I went from layout design, mission scripting, technical design, and then going into indie games. I've stayed in the design stuff, but I've also gone into, producing is not on here. I should fix that. Producing should definitely be on here. I've done a little bit of writing. I'm a very bad writer, but I can write, like, you know, even writing tutorial text in the voice of a character is quite fun for me. So I've enjoyed that. Yeah. Sorry, so I'm getting a bit lost in your question. Your question is there any, those are the roles that I've done.
Yeah.
I'm not a good artist. I'm an awful programmer. I did do some QA. Oh, that's a lie. My very first gig was QA, and then I went from QA to game design, from game design to level design, back into game design and production and direction. I have a soft spot for level design and a soft spot for like layout design. Level design for me is like the funnel through which everything gets in the game, because the artist has like, hey, I want this, you know, these assets to get into the game in this way. And the combat designer has, I want this combat encounter to play out. And you're at the nexus. You're there putting them into the game, scripting that behavior, polishing it up, putting the writing into the game, making sure it triggers at the right time, making sure the cinematics trigger, making sure it's bug-free, making sure the ammo placement is good to make it flow. And so the finished product up on the screen is like, that's me. Like I placed all of those things, and I like positioned these cameras, and I did all these enemy pathing. Like, to me, it was the closest I got to like, the closest to the player experience. I just really enjoyed doing it.
So level designing, you're also in charge of like timing when things happen.
Yeah.
What the player would do.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
So, I guess, because you've primarily done game design in the indie space, right? So, have you found any significant differences
Between indie and...
between game design in the indie space versus in the AAA space?
The example I always give is, at Ubisoft, there was one designer there that worked on the haptics, that worked on vibration and rumbles.
Full haptics.
For all games that we're making. Like, there would be a time where we'd be like, okay, we need the haptics, we need Josh. And he would come in and be like, we just leave him alone for like a month. And he'd be there, and he'd be like, AK-47? Okay. No. Yeah. Okay, great. Next one. And that was his job. And he was exceedingly good at it. To a point where like, I place it, I'd be like, doesn't feel right. He'd be like, give it to me. Try it now. Yeah, feels better. What did you do? He's like, don't worry about it. I changed the frequencies of this and that. Like, he just had it. I sat next to a guy called Doug, who was like the best economy designer that I've ever seen. I'm like, I'm finding it hard to like tweak the resource balancing of this. And he's like, what formula are you using? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, here are some do you know what? I'm gonna put it into my spreadsheet, I'm gonna balance it out, you're gonna use this formula, boom. Now
like Brett, who we brought up back in November.
Oh yeah.
He had massive spreadsheets of data analysis stuff that you could do with it,
Yeah.
balancing the Nemesis system.
Oh, rad, that's cool. Yeah, so AAA is awesome if you want to go really deep into one subject, like, and be a real specialist, like truly very, very talented folks. If you want a more broad experience, then indie will give you that more broad experience. Yeah, so my job now, or the design that I do, I can kind of do a bunch of stuff. I can just play to the strengths that I have and be like, hey, I'm not a good writer, but I can do a little bit of level design if a project needs it. Or I can go over to a different project at my studio and help out with some combat systems or some scripting. Whereas at Ubisoft, I can't go over to another project and be like, hey, I can help out with layouts there. They'd be like, whoa, would they use a different engine, completely different, scripting language. I had to go through a different set of managers to get there. And I'm painting it as like, oh, corporate bad. But like, truly, that structure is awesome if you want to get really good at doing this one thing. If you're an artist and you want to get fantastic at making environments, then the AAA environment is awesome for you, because you just get to focus on making awesome environments, and then everybody else helps you get those into the game. But if you're an indie dev and you just want to make good environments, okay, you've now got to, make them perform, like make sure they're under budget. You've now got to make sure that everything is rigged up and you now got to do some animation work. You've now got to do some particle effects. It might not be what you're good at, but you've got to kind of do more. So, yeah.
So it sounds like AAA is more like you have to have the skills to get there, and it's going to be an excellent learning experience. Whereas in indie, you also have this, you're going to be bootstrapping a lot more of what you're doing.
Yeah, I've seen it go both ways. Like for me, there's probably a time when I will want to go back into AAA. Indie is less stable. It's more day to day. Where 3 days ago, I'm pressing the button to launch our DLC on Steam, and I'm like, I think all the region pricing is correct. I'm pretty sure that I typed it in from the spreadsheet correct. So my boss is like, looks correct. I'm like, is that it? Is it just you and me looking at a number and going, I think that's right? Like we don't send this off to like the finance team and they triple check. It's like, no, we just do it. I'm like, that's terrifying. What if we get it wrong? And she's like, we may have gotten it wrong. Whereas AAA has all these checks and balances, there's all these layers of people making sure that everything's like ticked. So I've seen people go from indie to be like, do you know what? I can't be worrying about this. I just want to worry about my levels and how the game is marketed and the price of the game and the art that goes into it. Do you know what? I can't focus on that. I just want to do the levels. And for me, it was the other way around. For me, it was like, no, I want to know how the game's being marketed so that I can make levels that match that. Or so that I can also like, hey, I'm really good at this other thing. Can I go and help that? Whoa, no, stay over there and do this thing. I'm like, oh, that to me was frustrating. But to some people, it's reassuring and it gives them, structure. So I've seen people go from one to the other, back and forth. Game, I'll get into this later too, but the games industry is very small. Everybody knows everybody. And so I would say a AAA is a great place to work if you can get, it's tough to get into anywhere. But if you can get into a AAA, it's a huge learning experience if you're more junior because you get access to so many experts. Like, yeah, day one of my job, I just sit down and it's like, oh, that guy's worked on 6 Far Cry games, for 20 years. And I'm like, okay, cool. And any single thing that I would ask would be like, what do you think about this? He'd like pull out his like design docs. He's like, well, in Far Cry 2, we did it like this, and then we got this audience feedback, so we did like this instead. Just this huge fount of wisdom and knowledge. And that's awesome. It's awesome to have access to that, and especially if you're all NDA'd together, people immediately are like, if you're in the building working AAA, they're like, oh yeah, let me show you some really wacky stuff from earlier builds. Yeah, it can be huge. I'm going to move on to while my voice is still keeping. And then I'm very happy to stay around and chat afterwards for as long as I can. This is a much shorter one. This is brand new. Networking, gross, other people, ugh, weird. Networking, I'm Aaron Gordon, pronouns, he, him. These are some games. Very good. How to network with game dev nerds. Networking advice, grab bag, some do's and don'ts.
What are the don'ts inform them that they misspelled grab bag?
Grab bag, no comment. What do I? I'm so bad at this, but I thought I was going to lose my first job in games because doing the HoloLens stuff, I had to just make a bunch of PowerPoint presentations for things. And some of them were like, if players elect to do this thing, and I just used like Word autocorrect. And I was just like, yeah. Turned out that it autocorrected elect to erect. Hundreds of places throughout this very important document that my boss then took to Microsoft. And then afterwards he's like, yeah, maybe check your spelling next time. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose my job.
Which one was it?
Elect to erect.
Oh!
Yeah, it was bad. So that could have gone worse. The goal of networking. Yeah, we've all done a bunch of networking. If you haven't, I highly encourage you to. Industry is small. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody is largely very friendly. It is important. I've only realized this stuff like in the last few years. It's taken me an agonizingly long time to just like get even close to good at networking. I'm still very bad at it. Again, hopefully you can shortcut some of the years I spent failing at it. I used to think that the goal of networking was like, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to go to GDC. I'm going to go to this place. I'm going to smooze with somebody. They're going to tell me, hey, you're really smart. You should come work for us. Or, oh, we actually have a job opening here. You should apply. That has never happened once. Every single time I've tried to focus on this, I've just come back with like, nothing has happened. I felt frustrated. I haven't done networking then for a while. It's bad. What I wish I had focused on more is the goal of networking being more about getting to know other game devs, building up a list of contacts, sharing knowledge and just learning from other people. Like, if you ask anybody about how they like to design games, they will tell you in great detail. They will tell you about some do's and don'ts of engineering, of art. People love to talk about their own work. Collaborating on projects. Like, I wish that if I was making a game by myself, I could be like, hey, does anybody want to, like, I want to do the design and some engineering on this. I just need an artist. Do you want to work together for a weekend on this thing? Great. We will find loads of people who want to do that. Getting feedback about your game, like Full Indie, the one that IO runs, this is great. Everybody brings their laptop and their game, and they're like, cool, what do you hear? You're making this game? Fantastic. Can I play? And then you just give feedback, you chat about it. It's really fun. Being remembered by people, like just seeing the same faces. I've seen a bunch of you already from last year. A bunch of you came to like Vancouver for a trivia night. We fist bumped. I was like, hey, good to see you again. I'm remembering you. If I see you again at another conference, I'll be like, hey, you should meet like my boss. You should meet these people because I know you and we've gotten on well. That's networking. Have fun. Like, have a good time. Don't be there and be very upset and clearly not wanting to be there. Like, but if that's how you feel, then this venue of networking isn't working for you. Find somewhere that is fun, that does rejuvenate you. And make friends. Like, everybody knows everybody. Make friends at networking events. You don't have to meet everybody. If you make one friend and you keep in touch with them and you keep doing that over years and years, fantastic. You've networked, you've built up your community. Same thing, this will not guarantee you a job, but it will increase your luck and increase your odds so that, you know, when somebody's studio is looking for something, if you've told me a whole bunch that you're into design and want to, you know, work on, or you're really into 40K and you'd love to work on that franchise, and for some reason I'm working on a 40K game or getting together, I can be like, remember this person? They really wanted to work on 40K. We should go talk to them again, see if they're still available. Okay, something I struggled with, how to start a conversation. This is terrifying, and it sucks. And I've been the person who's like hovering. I'm like, I want to talk to that person. How do I talk? This is what's worked for me. Yeah, take it or leave it. Be cool. Just be cool. Don't overthink it. That's very easy to say, but genuinely, we're all people, we're all humans, we're all nerds, we're all very awkward people. Like, it's okay. Fantastic.
I feel personally attacked.
I've made this slide because I've made every single one of these mistakes, and I felt bad about it, and I've gone home and I'm like, I'm never showing my face ever again. A really good thing is like, just get a short message or convo, get in, get out, leave a good impression. That's it. That's all you need to do. And then the next time you see them at another event, you're like, oh, hey, we met at this thing. Good to see you again, blah, blah, blah. Just continue doing that. You don't need to have a deep, meaningful conversation with everybody. If you know who they are, or if they've worked on something, then be specific. If you know that X developer is going to be at Y convention, then go play their game. And be like, oh, I just played your game yesterday. I really enjoyed it. Like, what inspired you for like that final, the ending? Like what inspired you for that? People light up. People go, oh, cool. Yeah, you played my game. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Thank you very much for playing the game. Immediately, you're friends. If you have a game or a project to show or talk about, this helps so much. Like, if you have, hey, I've got this like little mobile game. Do you mind giving it a go? I'm like, Yeah, amazing, great. If you bring your laptop and you're like, hey, do you mind if I'd love some feedback on this game that I'm making. It's like, very short, 30 seconds, a minute, but I'd love some feedback. Amazing, I love playing games, I love giving feedback. Be polite, be considerate, be respectful. Just always do this all the time, but especially if you're networking, like people talk, and if you are rude at a networking event, if you shun certain people because you feel like you don't want to talk to them, especially if you talk down to people, like everybody notices it, and it will set you back a lot. So be respectful, be considerate. Again, you can make mistakes. You can forget people's names. You can mispronounce things. You can say that like you didn't like, oh, sorry, I didn't like that game. I meant this. You can be a human being. That's fine. Just don't be a jerk. It won't get you points. Indigo Montoya is my hero. This is a fantastic way. Game changing. If you haven't seen this before, well, first of all, if you haven't seen The Princess Bride, I know what you should be doing this evening. You should be going and watching The Princess Bride. It is a fantastic movie. Indigo Montoya always says this line, hello, my name is Indigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. This.
Yeah, the fight he's having, he's like, you seem like a decent fellow. I hate to have to kill you.
Yeah. He kept it polite. Seriously, this is a fantastic way to introduce yourself, to talk to other people. Hello, my name is Indigo Montoya. No, hello, polite greeting. Fantastic. My name is Indigo Montoya. This is who I am. How we know each other. You killed my father. What we're going to talk about next, or the thing that's going to happen, prepare to die. We will fight now. So, fantastic. Oh, hi. My name is Aaron. I played your game yesterday. I played Return of the Killer Hamsters Part 3. I thought it was awesome. Did you always want to make a hamster game? Fantastic. Like, yeah. Do you have 5 minutes to chat about your game? I'd love to ask you some things. Now we're good. Like, I now understand. If you come to me and you're like, hi, I'm immediately like, hi. I don't know where this is going. I am scared. I am a nerd. Like, I don't like uncertainty. Especially, I don't know if you've met gamers as a whole on the internet, especially if you've made some games. I've had people come up to me and be like, hi. I'm like, hi. They're like, I really didn't like Far Cry. Like, okay. Yeah, you.
Just hello and then nothing. Every time I get a message on Discord, it's just like a random server that sends me hello. It's like 99% chance that this person is going to ask me to commission them for some shitty art or something.
To be clear, I have done this multiple times. Multiple times I have frozen up, and like, it might not even be somebody famous or important or who I know, but I've joined a group and I'm like, oh, hi. And then later it's like, I did not introduce myself. I just joined this conversation, and then they were all like, okay, anyway, like.
This exact set of 4 things, this saved me so much face at GDC, because you know Mark Brown from GMTK? Game Maker's Toolkit?
Yes.
Channel? So he was at GDC, he was doing a meetup. I waited like an hour to go say hi to this dude. By the time I met up with him, actually got to interact with him, I basically had a heat stroke and couldn't remember what I was thinking.
Oh, shit.
So I was like, hi, I'm Gavin. And he's like, great, Mark. and I froze up.
Yeah.
Obvious answer would have been like, hey, I'm Gavin. Love your videos. We actually used your intro to Unity that you made as the foundation of one of our workshops we ran at my university that I ran. Like, so much better than just, hi, I'm having a stroke.
Yeah, it doesn't. But, yes.
I went back to my hotel room and wallowed for a good hour.
Yes. But this is the game design version, to your point. This is the spatial planning game design version of how to have an intro to a conversation. You do not need to be witty. You do not need to give design advice. You do not need to show how smart you are. It's just, Hi, I'm Aaron. It could be our personal link, could be we do not have one. It could be, hi, I'm Aaron. Oh, I like your shirt. I don't think we've met before. Like, I work as a game dev in Vancouver. How about you? What do you do?
When I was wearing my Riot Games coat that you guys are so used to, someone walked up and was like, hey, I love League of Legends. I was like, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's like, what's your name? Are you gonna kill me?
They literally
Yes.
asked me if I worked on it. They're like, damn, I love League of Legends. Did you work on that? I was like, no.
Yes.
I bought this coat.
So please remember this. It is so good, so useful. Introduce yourself. Share a personal link if you have one, or if you don't, just highlight because people will be like, oh, hi, it's Jamie. I'm like, oh no, I should know Jamie. How many Jamies do I know? Is it this or this? Like, I don't think we've met. Oh, thank God. Okay, great. I saw your talk on this thing. I thought it was really good. I have some more questions. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah.
I have a funny one.
Go for it.
Before I joined a Discord server, instead of introducing myself, I send a GIF of like someone being like an entrance to a place, and I'm like, this will tell everyone about my entire personality.
Fantastic. How to stay in contact and follow up. I'm still bad at this. I have only started putting real effort towards this. I used to come back from every convention being like, why does nobody message me? Why am I not getting any? I gave out so many business cards. Nobody has messaged me once. It's because I didn't really follow through. I didn't really, put the time and effort into it. So keep it casual. Like if I had a good conversation with somebody, I'd be like, oh, I didn't get any of their details. There's no way I can follow up. Very casual. Like, oh, hey, are you on Discord? Like, loads of people say to me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm on Discord. Search for Aaron Square, and like, that's me. Yeah, shoot me a message anytime. It's fine. Done. You now have an in with that person. Or if they have, oh, I'd love to get your feedback on my game. Would that be cool? What's the best way to get a build to you if you're cool with that? Oh, yeah, it's cool with that. I'm pretty busy for the next few weeks, but yeah, I'll give you my card. Fire me an email whenever. Great. Just be specific, keep it casual, keep it cool. Some people might not be comfortable. That's fine. If they're not, then give them your contact information. And yeah, please never pressure anybody to give them your details. But keeping it casual will be the thing that gets people to give you their details. Because if you're like, I really would love to talk to you about jobs at your studio, now I'm like, you should go through the official channels though, because I can't promise anything. Where if you're like, hey, I'd just love to check, can I pick your brain on some game design stuff? Like, you in town next week? I'm like, oh, I'm not in town next week, but oh yeah, here's my card. Like, give me a message. Like, that'll be fine. Great, keep it casual.
It also makes it a lot less awkward for the other person if you give them a reason to, like, I want to work on this thing, or figure out how to do it.
Yes, if you just be like, I'd like to keep in touch. I'm now like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like,
Are they hitting on me?
It's like, I'm married, actually.
hey, please remove all ambiguity. If you're at a professional place, keep it professional.
That would be really funny though. Just imagine someone trying to pick someone up at like a professional wrestling event.
I have more stories for you that another time. But yes, to your point, please follow up with a short message. Please remind that person who you are and how you met. Hey, it's Aaron from the talk I gave at Kamloops. I forgot the name of the university for a split second. It's gone. Yes, thank you. Oh yeah, we talked about this thing. Thanks for that tip that you gave me. You want to get coffee next week? You said you're in town. I'd love to pick your brain on this game I'm working on. Half an hour if you've got time. The time part is really important too. If you're like, it would be fun to hang out, I'm like, I don't know if I can commit to like a dinner or to hang out. Yeah, keep it to a coffee, keep it short. Hey, like, if you got half an hour free, like this weekend, I'd love just to quickly talk to you about this game for like half an hour. Now I'm like, oh, half an hour, cool, yeah, fine.
We did borrow you for an hour one time for our game jam, Joe.
You did, and I was like, yeah, fine, yeah. If you were, but exactly to your point, if you said, hey, you free that day, I would have been like, that day, man, I can't. If you were like, it's literally for an hour. I'm like, oh, that's fine, yeah, I can spare an hour, no problem. Yeah. Yeah, be specific, give a time limit, give a place, Please don't make the other person like work for it. Be passionate and be professional. Like, we're all gamers, we all play games, but you are a game developer. We're all game developers. You make games, you are learning to make games, you're a game developer. You got to make that distinction very early on when you're talking to somebody you want to network with, if it's like somebody who's a game dev. Again, I don't know if you've seen gamers on the internet. Most, 99%, are lovely human beings and are awesome. 1%, man, just ruins it. Yes.
The ones that you hear are the loud ones?
Exactly. So 99% of people are absolutely lovely. But if you tell me you're a game dev, now I'm like, oh, okay, my body language goes like this. And I'm like, okay, cool, you're a dev, you make games, you get it. Fantastic. But if you're like, oh, I'm a big fan of this game, I'm like, thank you. The official line from Studio is, we love working with our players, and please direct all comments and feedback to our feedback form. Whereas if you're like, oh, I'm a game dev, you know, really impressed with the design that you did for that thing, that must have been hard. I'm like, yeah, man, that was really tough. That was touch and go for a moment there. You know, you get it. Yeah?
If you're like mostly just work on the art and stuff, would you still call yourself a game dev?
Of course. If you're involved in any aspect of, if you're in marketing for video games, you're a game dev. If you're in finance for video games, you're a game dev.
I don't know about finance.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I like getting paid.
That's true. I just know the finance guys at tier U or...
Just ignore the tier ones.
Yeah.
Ignore the business guys at tier U.
I find sometimes artists we have like a hard time with labels. So it's like,
Yeah.
level is it like for the longest time when you first start out, you don't want to call yourself an artist, but then you're like, no, I am an artist.
Yeah. You are a game developer. Everybody has, so that imposter syndrome that you feel, I have bad news, it never goes away. I'm up here now and I'm like, I really hope that what I'm saying makes sense. I really hope that this is okay and that they like me. It's never goes away, but you are game developers. This kind of goes back to, don't be a jerk. Be polite, considerate, and respectful. Like, I've seen this happen. I've seen people go like, yeah, but QA aren't really game devs. And everybody in the circle just heard that. And there are some QA people that just heard that, or there are some people whose partners are QA people, and you just called their job meaningless.
I was clear I was making a joke.
Yeah. And you're allowed to be, you're human, you're allowed to be wrong, you're allowed to make mistakes. Don't feel like you need to walk on eggshells, but just be kind, considerate, and respectful. If you're ever at a networking event, try to, even if it's another company, if you're like, oh yeah, look, I get it. I know we like to be like, oh, yay, what are they like, right? If you're at a game dev conference, it's just not a good look to start slandering other games companies, even if I might agree and be like, some things are pretty shady, or I might think certain individuals at certain places, like, I'm not going to have that conversation with people I've just met. It's not a good look. I'd rather be like, yeah, you could be like, well, they do some stuff. Yeah, I kind of want to do some other stuff. And I could be like, I get you. But now if there's some people that work at EA in the circle overhearing, they're not like, fucking jerks.
Like shit talking my horse armor?
It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck was that?
Yeah, so keep it in mind, whenever you hear yourself about to like put somebody else down or put down a company, just remember that people talk and that the industry is very small. Is there a lot of benefit from putting that person down or putting company down? Almost certainly not. Like, as game devs, we should all lift each other up. Please have hobbies outside of games. This helps a lot in networking. I still fail spectacularly at this a long time, but yeah, just started doing a bunch of tabletop stuff and magic stuff. And now I get to talk about magic with people at there's like a bonding thing that you have. If you do woodworking, if you're a freaking blacksmith, if you're into like sports, talk about that. At a game dev like convention, you don't always need to be talking about like game dev. You can be like, hey, does anybody do any like this thing? Oh yeah, I do that. Fantastic. We now have a bond outside of just we love games. And they will want to introduce you to other people. You know, if you're like, yeah, I play Magic, they're like, do you want to be a part of our Magic evening?
Tell
Like,
them you DM D&D. They'll find you a party of people.
Yeah. Play D&D.
Have time in your schedule?
But talk about them. If you crochet, if you play chess, if you do, talk about it. You know, show things off. Wear pins, wear badges, like wear a t-shirt for your favorite sports team. Like, do all of that. Be passionate, be a person. Fantastic. And I'm confident that if you brought that to a game dev like C, I am 100% confident that if you brought that to GDC and were like knitting, that you would get a sewing circle like very quickly. And people would be like, oh, you crochet as well? Fantastic.
At GDC, there was a crocheting game.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are people, you should, like, if you don't, I definitely fell into this bucket in my early 20s of like games of my life. I'm all about video games. It did not make me a better game developer. It did not make me better at networking. It did not make me a better human being. It's hard to find the time, the energy, but if you're passionate about something, share that with people, because people like that. Yeah, a good one is, so what keeps you busy when you're not making games? And people will talk about it. People are like, oh, I got 2 kids, and one of them's really into hockey. Oh, no, wait, what kind of hockey is he into? Have you been following the Leafs recently? Oh, yeah, this and that. Fantastic. Now you're talking about hockey. See, I know about sports. Common networking pitfalls. Again, so every single one of these I have done multiple times. Please, it is fine, but yeah. It'll help to, I hope to share things with you. You went to one event, networking is done. That's it for the year. I went to that event, I shared my details, I'm great, I did my networking. It's a constant thing, it takes time. If you make one genuine connection per event, that is it. That is all you need to do. If you do a dozen events a year, half a dozen events a year, in 5 years, you've got a dozen people in your network, 2 dozen people in your network. The industry is very small, everybody knows everybody, people disperse and go to different companies, and they're like, oh, I used to work with that person, or I know somebody who used to work with that person, I can refer you. Stuff like that happens every single day. Or I have a, oh, I think we're going to be having an opening for this job in 2 weeks' time. You might want to polish your resume up before then, and then I can, refer you internally, because I get a referral bonus if I refer somebody internally, so I want to do it. So yeah, focus on making genuine connections rather than like, I met 20 people. It's like, just follow up, try and make one genuine connection, play a game with that person, talk to them outside of the event, follow up. Yeah, industry's pull, small people move around. Slow and sustainable networking is way better than burning out. I did this in the summer break. I was like, I'm gonna go to 10 networking events in 2 weeks, and I'm like, by the third one, I was like, I might as well not been there. I was a shell of a person. I was not making good connections, good conversation. It was pointless. Just don't do business cards. I don't know, man. Like, I think the time is gone. 10 years ago, we started thinking that we were a proper industry because we had business cards, and everyone was like, whoa, I can give these out. Look at me, I'm a proper professional. I have never once, look man, I'm just telling you, I have never once gone through my business cards at the end of the day and then I've been like, I'm gonna contact each one of these people. I've already forgotten. I've given out loads of business cards and 90% of people have never messaged me. That's okay. If you have them, fantastic. I would say don't sharpen your pencils and be like, I can't go to that networking event because I don't have any business cards. Like, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Or I need to really work on my business cards this weekend. No, you don't. If you want to, just have something basic with your name, what you do. I'm Sarah, game developer. Here's my LinkedIn profile. That's it, that's all you need.
What if they were like super cute and show off like an illustration?
Yeah? If you're proud of them, fantastic, awesome. I just would not rely on them as a robust tool. Yeah, I wouldn't rely on them. Don't try to meet the most important people. at an event, your story is, you spent 4 hours, you didn't get a good connection out of it at the end of it. You probably could have spent that 4 hours doing something else, talking to other people. I've done the same thing. Celebrity designers, CEOs, directors, maybe they're awesome. They are usually incredibly busy, and they have their guard up around new folks. Like, short story time, when I was at E3 a few years ago, we were at the same event that Kojima was at. And I was like, oh shit, there's Kojima over there. That's pretty freaking cool. And one of my friends made a beeline straight to Kojima and like started, and his entourage was like, whoa, 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 like getting in the way. But he was like starting to make conversation with him. It's like, oh, so great to meet you, this and this. And you could see Kojima being like, oh yeah, thank you, great. And he spent about 10 minutes just like talking to the person, and then came away, be like, I can't believe I met Kojima, oh, amazing. I don't think that did anything for that person's career. I don't think it did anything. They did not make a connection. If that's your goal, is just to meet somebody and to be like, hey, huge fan of your work, keep doing what you're doing, just wanted to say hi, you have a great day. That's fantastic. People love that. I would not expect to find a celebrity designer, a YouTuber, a creator, and that's the I really need to meet you because I need to tell you about my game, or I need a hookup for the thing. It's not going to happen. Yeah, unlikely to be revolutionary. Yeah, it's very okay to meet somebody you admire. This is the just get in, get out as fast as possible, and leave a good first impression. So what I've seen work and what I've had work is like, hello, my name is Aaron. Oh, I just saw your talk. I just want to say, big fan of that game. And they're like, oh, great, thanks, you like it. Oh yeah, man, that's awesome. I love that underwater section. It was really great. Cool, just wanted to say hi. Hope you have a good one. I see you're busy, but yeah, I'll talk to you later. And that person's like, oh, cool. And they might see you later at the bar, and they might see you later the next day. And you're like, oh, hi, oh yeah, we said hi yesterday. Now you can start to build up a bit more of a rapport, but it's not the time to just drop in and be like, oh, hi, I'd love to tell you about my stuff and do the thing. Just get in, get out, leave a good first impression. If you're contacting somebody, please do not. Please do not. I have done this, thinking that I'm giving them all the information, I'm going to look so smart. Do not do this. I've then been receiving these, and I get walls of text, and I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what you want. I don't know if you want me to critique this game design, or I just don't know what's happening. I immediately, if I see a wall of text in my inbox or Discord or whatever, I'm just like, oh, I'm on guard, I'm not relaxed, I'm not really likely to make a strong connection with you. At the same time, please do not be too brief. Do not just say hello. This is infuriating when somebody, I have done this too multiple times, right? Like, you get somebody's details, and you're just like, hi. The other person's like, hi, how is it going? I would say, just give a short description. Remember, don't do this either. Don't spam somebody's inbox. I've had people who will, and I've done this as well, who will get my details and they'll send me one sentence Discord messages, but now my phone is like, bloom, 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 bloom. And if my first impression of you is my phone is blowing up with 10, now I'm on edge and I'm not sure what's happening.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Be like Indigo Montoya, just do this. Send me one line to be like, hi, we met at this place. I really enjoyed, or I have questions about this thing. Do you have any time to go, to go through it? Amazing, fantastic. Make it very easy for me to respond. Make it easy for me to be like, yeah, sure, is tomorrow good? Or not right now, when's good for you? Make it easy, don't make me pull out. Especially, we were talking about this earlier, your Discord profile is a anime character with Noob Slayer 69. I don't know who that is. Be like, hey, it's Mark. We met at the thing. You can even send a picture of yourself. That's cute, that's fine. I would encourage you to, if it's a platform that you're sharing, to have a picture of yourself on there so that somebody can be like, yeah, it's that person, or have it linked to something where I can see a picture of you. Please don't grovel or overreact. It's okay to be a fan of somebody, but don't fan person out on them. It makes people feel uncomfortable. I have seen the Hideo Kojima thing. It's actually worse. The guy went up and started bowing to Hideo Kojima, and he was, and he's like, "I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy," and we moved across the room from him. We're like, "I cannot be associated with this guy." You could see the ripple of discomfort was palpable. Like, yeah, but I've seen, and that's like an extreme, but I've seen it develop as like, I love that game, that's so amazing. I've seen it happen where like, I'll be speaking to a Nintendo rep and we're talking about like, oh, so you're a Nintendo rep, that's interesting. Oh, we're trying to reach out to Nintendo, it's awesome. You work for Nintendo? Oh, that's so cool, I can't believe you work for Nintendo, that must be a dream job. Oh, that's so amazing. Both of us are now like, cool.
Interrupted our conversation so hard.
Also, be polite, be respectful. Yeah, even it's okay to be impressed. Like, I have to tamp it down. In our office, we do some desk rentals, and we work with Dan Davis, the Inscription developer. And when I first met him, I was like, Dan Davis, it sounds familiar. He's like, oh yeah, I made like Pony Island and Inscription. I'm like, cool, it's cool. Yeah, I played Inscription. Yeah, cool. Yeah. You working on anything cool now? Anything? It's hard, but you can be like, oh man, I really love that game. I thought it was awesome. Yeah, I'd love to chat. And then later on, I'm like, hey man, yeah, I really loved Inscription. Like, do you want to go for a coffee? Like, sometime I'd love to get your feedback on something I'm working on. It's like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah, just be a person, you know.
Really awkward around the office if you start bowing.
Yes, it would have. Be cool, you can have those fan moments, but if you are approaching somebody, you're a game dev. You're a professional, you're not a gamer. You're a professional, you're a game dev. Please do not give unprompted critical advice. Do not give unprompted feedback. You may be right, you may be correct, you may be like, your monetization sucks in that game. I've seen that happen at almost every conference I've gone to, and I don't know what the expectation is from that person that's gonna happen. In general, I would just avoid negativity, period. I would avoid just, even if nobody in the room works for the company you want to have a go at, I would just avoid it. It's not it's not a good look. Most 99% of game devs that worked on the game know the flaws of their game. They understand, they know better than anybody why it sucks in certain places or what they could have done better. They don't need somebody coming up to them who they don't know, telling them, oh, did you ever think about making the jump like higher so that you could reach the like, yeah, we did think about that. It would have broken all of the IKs on all the animations though, so we didn't do it. And also we didn't, like, now that they don't owe you that explanation, what I would say is start from a place of curiosity. Thanks, Ted Lasso. Be curious. Like, this is awesome. So what's okay is being like, hey, I love that game. Like, I really love the platforming too. Like, I'm wondering, like, was there any challenges involved in like making any of the jumps higher or anything? And they'll be like, oh yeah, man, there were so many difficulties. We'd already localized the game, and we'd already localized it as like jump like 3 feet, so we couldn't change it because of all the. And they're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Now it makes total sense. So you haven't outed yourselves. It's like, oh, I know better than you. You should do these things. You've started off from a place of curiosity, of like, oh, fine. Like, did you find like what was the feedback like for that final level? I heard that loads of people like found it really hard. And they're like, yeah, man, loads of people found it really hard. However, when we looked at the analytics on the back end, 90% of people finished the game eventually. So we thought that while there's lots of people online going, this sucks, all of those same people that went, it sucks, then finished the game afterwards. So we thought it was good. And then you've learned something, and you haven't made a bad impression on this person. Yeah.
If someone asks you, like, what you think of the game, and, like, they're trying to be honest, like, just be honest in a nice way? Or just only say positive things?
What's the scenario? Yeah.
Like, you played my game, did you like it?
Yeah, I'd be honest. I'm sorry, I'm finding it How do you?
Just like if you asked this, one of us walked up to you, right, and said, hey, I played Crypt of the Necrodancer, pretty good game. If you went, yeah, like, what would you think about, like, this thing?
Oh, then it's not unprompted. I've prompted you.
Yeah, actually.
So I would still I wouldn't go like, what do you think about it? Fucking sucked. Got him.
I know games that people, when I say I play that game, though, they will immediately say what they think about that game.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
And I imagine that doesn't make you feel good leaving that conversation. That makes you feel like, all right.
Usually, the minute someone says that, and then I explain all of the reasons why it is still good, but also I kind of understand what they mean.
Yeah. I would, but you're right, I would definitely skew positive. Game devs get it, right? Like, if something has a glitch, like, I'm trying to think of an example. If I don't know, Dark Souls, for some reason you're talking to a Dark Souls developer, and they're like, what do you think about the game? You can go, oh, man, the world is so rich, and I can see what you've done with the combat. Personally, I'm not very good at the game, so I can't beat like the second boss. It's too hard for me. But I can see that loads of people love it, and I respect that. I just wish I was better at the game.
Sticking in a compliment sandwich.
That's usually what I do. Like, if I don't like a game, it's usually because I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, it's me. It's not you.
Yeah, I start from being curious, and if they ask you like, hey, what do you think about the game? You're like, yeah, I really loved it. What do you think about, like, what did you think about when you were balancing the difficulty for it? Like, I think I'm just not very good. I just couldn't get past the third boss.
I
Like,
feel like if you asked me more in depth on what I thought about Crypt of the Necrodancer, it was like, gorgeous game, great music. I suck ass at it, didn't get that far.
sure, and look, I know a lot of the flaws with that game. It's not a perfect game, so I wouldn't be surprised, but don't come out the gate with like, oh, the calibration's off. Like, yeah. But no, this is like, if you take away only a few things, just be honest, but start off with a place of curiosity, especially in huge games. There's like AAAs, there's often a dozen reasons why something had to be like it is that you're not seeing. A lot of the times it's localization, because that is a real pain in the butt. Really try hard not to block, ignore people on purpose. Again, we are humans, accidents happen, but I've seen this happen a lot. It's like, hey, nice to see you, how's it going? And now you're blocked out of the conversation, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? You will feel it too. You're like, oh, this guy just completely ignored our friend. We're having a good conversation. If you realize it, you can be like, oh, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, oh, I'm Aaron. Oh, sorry didn't mean to like block you there.
Save it.
Yeah. Be human, but I've seen people do it on purpose to go talk to the Nintendo guy who's like, you work for Nintendo, like physically did this. I've seen people do it where it's like somebody will bring their wife or their partner to a game event, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I work in mocap, and this is my partner so-and-so, and they'll be like, oh, so, and they'll completely ignore the spouse of the person. That does not make that person like you. They will not want to talk to you if you are mean to their boyfriend, husband, partner, like. Yeah.
Partner in front of other people. Those people are gonna be like, they speak for their partner.
Yes. Yeah. Again, I have done this multiple times. I don't like to say it, but I have definitely been like, you worked on that game? Oh my God, that's that's amazing.
Actually,
That's amazing. Can you tell me? Like, I've done this. Like, I've done that, and I look back on it, and I get home, and I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. Yeah. Be mindful, like, if I picked up on it, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's fine. You're allowed to make mistakes.
What's your mindset when somebody walks up to you and talks to you in a game that you worked on that wasn't very well perceived? Like at the start, so I went to class at the start.
It's fine.
You worked on Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
Correct? That game wasn't very well received.
Sure.
In my headspace, what's your headspace when somebody comes up to you and talks to you about a game that wasn't very well received?
Yeah, I would. Depends what kind of conversation you want to have, right? Like
the drastic changes between from Far Cry 4 to 6.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of changes from the franchise that people love to Far Cry 6.
hey, I played Far Cry 6. Like, you definitely went in a new direction with Far Cry 6. Like, what was it like to work on that team? Like, what kind of mandated you to go in that direction? I'm interested in the dev cycle. Oh man, I would have loved to have made Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 is my favorite Far Cry game. It's amazing. Between you and me, I know we're game devs, don't go talking to Kotaku about this, but this and this. Oh my God, I didn't realize that you were told these. Yeah, we kind of had these tight deadlines, and man, I wish we could have done like this particular mission. Really, I don't like it. Oh yeah, I wish that mission was better too. Yeah, I wish it was better. Now we're friends. Now we're bonding. If you come to me and you're like, why did Far Cry 6? Like, why was it badly received? It was obviously badly received. Why didn't you just do what Far Cry 3 did? Now I'm like, I don't really want to talk to you. Like, frankly, don't be a dick. Be polite, be considerate. Start with curiosity, because there's almost certainly a bunch of insightful reasons behind the thing, and you'll learn something by asking.
What was your experience working on Far Cry 6?
Great. Yeah, and I'll likely 3 sentences in be like, didn't do as well as we wanted to, like, there's this and this, but I enjoyed working on it, and blah, 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 blah.
How was it working on Far Cry 6?
Please direct all feedback, and I will answer that. I'll get through the rest of this, and then in the mingling time, I'm happy to chat about that and go into a bunch of detail. Short version is I learned a huge amount. It was the AAA thing, right? It's like I learned to be an expert in this area. For me personally, there was a little bit of frustration where like I'm making a bunch of the outposts and I'm making a bunch of the open world design, and I'm like, oh yeah, what if the story changed? Like, what if instead, the key was hidden under? It's going to make really good sense if the key is hidden under the doormat because it just works for the flow. Key can't be under the doormat. Why? Because it's a card key. Because everything is mechanical in this area. It needs to be a card, like a key card, a swipe thing. I'm like, but it doesn't. What? They're like, yep, that's the rule. It just this region is all bunkers. I'm like, okay. Cool, there's not a lot of, but in their department, there's loads of good reasons for that. They've built up story and reasons and characters that are about that I don't know about, so there's not as much crossover. I don't feel as part of, linked to everything. Yeah. But if I just want to be an awesome level designer and just make kick-ass outposts and be like, what kind of door is it? Mechanical door, you got it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic. Basically that. Yeah, don't ignore or block people. Please just apologize if it happens. Just gonna be transparent. This happens all the time to women, game dev, and non-binary folks and LGBTQ folks. It shows people notice. People talk. People won't want to talk to you if you make it a habit. You can apologize. You can make mistakes. That's not a problem. Don't overthink it. I know I'm telling you all these things to do and not do, but there's a few fundamental, be nice, be polite, be professional, be curious. You wouldn't stop somebody on the sidewalk and be like, your hair sucks. You'd be like, whoa, interesting hairstyle. What inspired you to get that hairstyle? Oh, I got it as a bet. It sucks. I hate it. Oh, it is pretty bad. Start off, be friendly, be nice, be polite. IT card is amazing. It's great. Yeah. Again, this goes for everything. If you're hovering on the outside, I've done this where I'm like, how do I talk to that person? You can just be like, hey, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I have to go, but I just want to say, big fan of your game. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but big fan. I'll catch you later. Have a good day. Don't overthink it. That's fine. Totally fine. You're polite. You're considerate. You weren't rude. Don't overthink it. You're fine. And if you only remember one thing, if your memory can only hold one nugget of information, I've thrown a bunch of stuff at you. is the best advice I ever got, is show up, do things, be consistent and reliable. Just do that. The rest of it kind of happens, but if you show up to events, if you do things, if someone's like, do you want to be a part of this game jam? Yes, I will do that thing. If you want to be, playtest somebody, someone's like, oh, we need some playtesters. I will do the thing. Yes, I will sign up for playtesting your game. Show up, look for things to do the thing, and then follow through. Be reliable, go and playtest that game, go and give that feedback. Be consistent. When they next ask you for your feedback, give it again, talk to the same people again. And if you just keep doing these things, like the rest just kind of happens, right? But it's not useful to show up at an event and then not do anything. And it's not useful at an event to show up and then do things and not follow through. The best thing is like you show up, you do things, you help set up, you help like, hey, can I help with anything? Blah, 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 blah. And then be consistent, do it, and be reliable. And the industry is small, people will talk. You'll get invited back. You'll get invited to more playtesting. When that person has a job opening, they'll be like, that playtester gave awesome feedback. It just multiplies your opportunities that you may have in the future. And that is truly it. That is the last slide. And I'll leave this up because it's truly great. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're good.
Got about 15, 20 minutes.